Shots fired at a vehicle after it backs into a U.S. Coast Guard base in the San Francisco Bay Area. A U-Haul truck approached security officers at a U.S. Coast Guard base in California during a protest, prompting officers to open fire. What? This is nuts, man. The FBI is leading the investigation into the incident, where no injuries among Coast Guard personnel were reported. That's great. So bias distribution has most of the reporting coming from the left at 52%, 24% from the center, 24% from the right. Not exactly a blind spot for the right, but not a huge amount of reporting on the story at all. First published 2 hours ago, so not a very big story yet. This is kind of early on in the reporting. I have a story pulled from Associated Press, which we can see is highest on our factuality list, leans left with a very high factuality reporting. And let's get into the story here. Look at that. All right. Alameda. Law enforcement officers fired shots at a vehicle that backed into a U.S. Coast Guard base in the San Francisco Bay Area that had earlier been the site of protests against federal immigration agents, and hours after President Donald Trump called off a planned surge of federal agents into San Francisco to quell crime. Shots were fired at about 10 p.m. Thursday at the base in Alameda, the Coast Guard posted on X. The vehicle drove away and no Coast Guard personnel were hurt, the statement said. Video from the scene showed what appeared to be a U-Haul truck trying to back into the base. Coast Guard personnel issued multiple verbal commands to stop the vehicle. The driver failed to comply and proceeded to put the vehicle in reverse, the statement said. When the vehicle's actions posed a direct threat to the safety of the Coast Guard and security personnel, law enforcement officers discharged several rounds of live fire. The Coast Guard said the FBI was investigating. The FBI and U-Haul did not immediately respond to emails seeking further information. Earlier Thursday, protesters had assembled at the island, with many singing hymns and carrying signs saying "Protect our neighbors" and "No ICE troops in the Bay," a reference to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the National Guard. Trump had been threatening to send National Guard troops to San Francisco, a move Mayor Daniel Lurie and Governor Gavin Newsom said was unnecessary because crime is on the decline. Separately, U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents began arriving at the Coast Guard base in the region earlier Thursday for a possible ramp-up of immigration enforcement, a move that drew several hundred protesters. Trump said he backed off after speaking to the mayor and several prominent business leaders who said they are working hard to clean up the city. That decision was in contrast to others made by Trump to send in the military into Democratic-run cities over fierce resistance from mayors and governors. The deployment of National Guard troops on the streets of Washington faced challenges in 2 courts on Friday, one in the nation's capital and another in West Virginia, while across the country, a judge in Portland, Oregon was considering whether to let Trump deploy the troops there. Deployment remains blocked in the Chicago area. Coast Guard Island is a 67-acre human-made island formed in 1913 in the Oakland estuary between Oakland and Alameda. It's federally owned, does not allow visits from the general public without an escort or specific government identification, and has been home to the current base Alameda since 2012, according to Coast Guard documents from 2016. Base Alameda provides a variety of services for Coast Guard activities throughout the West Coast. Hey, thanks for watching this clip from Nightly News this morning. If you haven't, make sure that you drop the video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video or when we go live on Tuesdays and Fridays.